It was here in 1942 that the U.S. Army built Battery Murray, a large gun that was used to protect the Panama Canal during World War II, and it's since been abandoned, but we'll take a walk around to see the scale. There were massive guns like this one placed all around the Panama Canal that were used to protect the Panama Canal from any sort of attack from any of the Axis forces. And although this massive structure has since been decommissioned, you have to wonder what sort of protections are there in place to protect the Panama Canal that may be a little more discreet than this massive structure. So as you can see, the tunnels underneath connect, so it makes like an X or a cross that are fully open on all of the ends. But this was just a huge structure that was built here, and this is just one of them. That I know of about 2 other massive guns that were placed around the Panama Canal during World War II. But you can just see the size and the scale of this huge structure. This was Battery Murray. There's an old abandoned US Army bus stop in the middle of this abandoned community of all Army barracks and duplexes and single family homes. So this is where all the Army personnel would live. And the Air Force Base is just over there. You can barely see it. But there was a bus system here, and there's the old cock and balls graffiti. And then here in the jungle you can see this old US Army, I don't know what that is, some sort of electrical or water plant system thing, who knows, but it's old and it's just in the middle of the jungle here. You can barely see. We're in the corner of some street here. So here we have a single family dwelling. There's just the one entrance and the back entrance there. So you can see here that this would have been for a single family to have lived in. It's all abandoned now. There's graffiti in there. You can see like bat feces near the windows, so probably it's infested with bats. But you can see here it's kind of got a weird architecture where it's got the shade for the cars underneath, and then everything's all up top. Maybe there's a laundry room down below, and then there's one house just off in the jungle by itself. You can probably picture some high-ranking US Army official or general, whoever's in charge of the base, maybe lived up there. It's secluded and separate from all the other buildings in the subdivision. So you can see some of these houses backed right up to the jungle, not giving much room between human and jungle space here. So you can see lots of collapse, basically where the jungle's starting to take back the property, the land. The stairwell is actually disconnected. Bianca, come on, get out, from the landing. So I thought that was, they were collapsing or something at first, but what I think is that there's the separation so that any jungle creature climbing up the stairs, there'd be that gap so that maybe they're they wouldn't climb up into the apartment. So all this road and this sidewalk here, this would have been created by the US Army back when they converted this land into a base. And water management was a big issue here. It rains a lot in Panama, so they have this water aqueduct or whatever it's called just along the side of the sidewalk here, and that's to channel all the water from the rain when it came down the hill. subdivisions all down below. Off way in the distance is Panama City. We're in the middle of the, and it's just basically cut out from the jungle. You can see, I don't know if you can see way off in the back, there's all the cranes from the port. So we can see the port way down there of the canal, and the America's Bridge as well. You can sort of see that way down there as well, a few kilometers off in the distance. There's more buildings back there. There's some down there that looks like a much larger building, like a barracks or something. So even this sewer grade here, you can see here, Signal Corps USA. So this is like a US Army manhole cover. And here we have an old US Army fire hydrant that's probably abandoned. I doubt it's connected to the water system anymore. And we got Bianca in here as well. Hey Bianca, let's say hi. You can see here there's the one entrance on one side, and then the other entrance on this side. So there was two families that lived in this building here. Here we have an old US Army street sign. You can see here that it's got some sort of military crest. It's got like a sword coming down between two wings, and maybe that was the crest for Fort Kobbe or Kobbe, or however it's pronounced, K-O-B-B-E. So this is Mitchum Avenue. We're on Mitchum Avenue. You can figure it's named after some sort of General Mitchum or something like that. There we can see, we can get a bit of the crest. It's definitely old. It's probably been here for, I would say, I don't even want to speculate, but it's definitely US Army street sign. So it looks like what they did is that they removed a lot of these houses here, and what they did is actually made a disc golf course, which I haven't seen in Latin America before. The first disc golf in Latin America that I've seen. It's in Panama. If you're ever in Panama City, be sure to check out the disc golf course in Panama Pacifico. We're now standing in front of an abandoned US Army military barracks. It looks like it was converted into a French school. You can see Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, and it says Republique Française. So that's kind of weird. It looks like there's a door open. I don't want to go inside. I don't want to get deported like, you know, what's his name? Johnny Somali. So there's actually another one here, and we just passed two more down the street. So it looks like maybe this whole street at one point was these big, huge army barracks. And what's interesting about this base, Fort Kobbe, whatever, is this is where the operations against Pablo Escobar all began. This is the army base that the planes flew out of, that were monitoring the Colombians and the cartel back then, Pablo Escobar. Here's another phantom street that just goes nowhere, that once was a subdivision with all these US Army houses and barracks, but now it's just a street going nowhere, still lined with trees, but no houses, no buildings. And as a result, you now have these phantom sidewalks that go nowhere, that just follow once what was a subdivision. So we're just walking down one of these phantom sidewalks just to see, and it looks like there's somebody's garden right here, right next to the sidewalk. This could have been where somebody, you know, maybe grew some tomatoes or whatnot, and then once they moved, it just, you know, the jungle took over. And you can see here, there's still a lot of plants that one would associate with a garden or household plants. Here's some crazy looking flower. It's all just like little spikes or fluffs or something. This is the original fire department station that they had in when it was under the army. And you can see here this light that has like a red light, probably to like announce the fire trucks when it was coming through. So this is all abandoned US Army. So here's an interesting view of the airport, the air base, former air base. There's some sort of plane on the tarmac. Even from here, it probably would have been only like a 5 or 10 minute walk for somebody going to work, a US Air Force dude. So it just rained and we can see, Bianca wants to take a look, but you can see how the water channels are flowing and how they're, well, some of they're kind of blocked up from, you know, not being maintained, but they're still working, they're still flowing, and they're still channeling the water away from the base. I have no idea where all this water goes, but I'm sure quite a lot of it is redirected away from the base and from, you know, what was once the US Army infrastructure. There's a vulture checking out Bianca, sitting up on the corner of this abandoned US Army household, and it's kind of speaks to the nature of the decay and the abandonment. Here we have one of those big electrical boxes, and there's still some cables running to and from it, but I don't think it's running anymore. So this would have supplied much of the, probably the subdivision around here.